Hi, this is Vish Chatterjee, author of The Business Casual Yogi, giving you a little bit of my perspective on the coronavirus. So, as I went to a few different stores around town today here in LA, I noticed that there's no toilet paper. So, I'm assuming that the average American strategy to combat the coronavirus must be toilet paper based. I don't know, but it does not work as a mask. I can guarantee you that. It cannot trap viruses. But anyway, given all the craziness going on and all the information that's out there and all the confusion, I thought I would share a little bit of my perspective from the yoga point of view, some of the ancient wisdom that might be helpful in this current day crisis that we're having. So, in addition to being the author of the Business Casual Yogi and a practitioner of yoga and Ayurveda for over 20 years, I'm also on the board. I'm an elected official on the board of my local health district. And so I've been involved in the discussions around when to close our local schools. We made decisions to close the local schools, our local fitness center, also our senior centers. I've been involved with public health officials in that capacity. So I have some information from the Western perspective as well as from the Eastern perspective. And I thought I'd share a little bit of my thoughts. So I did think it was very funny that the toilet paper run and there's no toilet paper anywhere, and that seems to be the biggest panic is how do we clean our butts in the midst of the coronavirus? And I happened to be in Home Depot yesterday, and they had this right on sale, a handheld bidet on sale right at the front of the entrance to the store, actually. And the guy jokingly told me, he says, "Well, we're out of toilet paper, but we got these." And I thought that's interesting because in India, people still use water to wash their bottoms after going to the bathroom. And this is starting to happen in America here at Home Depot. And without, people are expecting, people are going to buy bidets and use those to wash themselves instead of toilet paper. So there is some relevancy to maybe the Indian traditions here in this current crisis. But anyway, I would say that from my perspective, it's not about how do we necessarily prevent getting the coronavirus because it's so prevalent and so virulent and so easily spread that I think the question is how do we, if we get the coronavirus, how do we best, defeat it? How do we best survive it? So it's a matter of boosting our immune system. I feel like that's the number one thing we should be focusing on. Prevention is very difficult, as we've seen in many countries around the world. And because it stays dormant, it doesn't really manifest in symptoms for sometimes up to 2 weeks. You may not know that you've been with somebody infected until it's too late. So boosting immunity, I think, is one of the things we should really, really focus on so that if we do get it, at least we can, hopefully our immune system is able to counter it. And I believe the number one way to boost our immune system is to get more sleep. So that's my number one advice is get more sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, get sleep that you should be getting. And if you're already getting enough sleep, add an hour to that. So I would, if I could wave a magic wand, I would say companies should let their employees come in an hour later or 2 hours later if they're still having people come into the office. If you're working for yourself, start your day an hour or two later. If your kids are still going to school, I think that is a concern. But if there's any way to get them a little bit extra sleep, I think, is a major immune booster and can help us a lot in this crisis. And the second thing going along with sleep is how do we reduce our stress? So obviously people are in absolute panic mode. You can see that. I went to the grocery store. All the shelves are empty. People are buying hand sanitizer, in insane quantities. People aren't thinking clearly. They're panicking. And panic and stress together, again, hurts your immune system. So anything you can do to relieve stress, to activities that help you be less stressed out, those are really, really important at this time. And obviously one of the most powerful tools for stress reduction is meditation. So this is the time to start meditating, or if you are a meditator, be very regular and diligent with your practice. Because meditation allows your stress levels to be much more in control, reduce your anxiety levels, which again helps with your immune system. So apart from sleep and stress reduction, the other thing to do obviously is wash your hands. Really, really, really think about hygiene and hand washing. So anytime you've been outside, when you come back home, wash your hands. And when we say wash your hands for 20 seconds. And that's like a, 1 Hare Krishna, 2 Hare Krishna, 3 Hare Krishna, 4 Hare Krishna, if you're a yogi, or 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, whatever you want to say, but make sure it's 20 seconds and really teach your kids that as well. So then sleep, stress reduction through meditation, hand washing are the obvious ones. Things that are a little bit more from the yoga side of things would be, so this is an infection that enters through the nasal passage, through the mouth, through the eyes, through the ears. So obviously don't touch those areas of your face if you have unclean hands. And yogis typically breathe through their nose. So by breathing through your nose on a regular basis, make that a practice, you let all the air get filtered through your nostrils, through all the hairs in your nostril, and through the mucus of your nasal lining. And the mucus's purpose is to trap pathogens, viruses, bacteria, dirt, dust, and all that. So if you're a mouth breather, you're not getting any of that protection. So start really breathing through your nose. And what yogis do in addition to that is in times when they're in very unclean environments, they'll actually put lubricants in their nose to increase that trapping power that the mucus already has. So going beyond that. And so you could use ghee, which is a very powerful way to trap those germs and also moisturize your nose. You can use olive oil. I've been actually using mustard oil, which is a very powerful, potent oil. It's a little difficult for a lot of people to manage that, but it also is a antiviral. But if you put the oil, you kind of just put a little bit in your finger and just put it inside your nose and get the nostrils nice and lubricated on the inside, and then a couple of breaths in to just spread it, and then you leave it in there as you go out throughout your day. When you come home, wash your nose real good, wash all that out. Wash your hands first, 20 Hare Krishnas, and then wash your nose out and get all that gunk out of there, and then relubricate. The other thing is this is a disease of the lungs, as we clearly know, and it's one that starts to enter and attack the upper respiratory system, and that's where there's still chance of survival. But as it gets below down to the lower respiratory system, it becomes very difficult to cure, and that's when things get very, very serious very quickly. So anything we can do to protect our lungs. So one of the things to do, obviously, as your mom probably told you when you're growing up, cover your chest, cover your neck. Don't go out in cold weather with an exposed chest. So try and keep covered up. That is Ayurvedic wisdom. The other thing is do exercises that really help your lungs. So pranayama, breathing exercises, deep yogic breaths where you breathe in and completely fill the lungs, stretch the lungs completely, feel the belly and chest and collarbone rise, 3-part yogic breath, and then fully exhaling that out. Even breath retention, Kapalabhati, these exercises, these are all described in the Business Casual Yogi, 3-part yoga breath, Kapalabhati, skull shining breath. These breaths are very, very good lung exercise that help strengthen the lung and build up that resistance and immunity to things like coronavirus and also to the flu. The other thing that is very good for the lungs are certain herbs. So tulsi is holy basil. It's a plant that is grown quite. It's an Indian plant, but it grows throughout the world. But you can go to most Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's and find tulsi tea, or Amazon has it, Tulsi. And the world at large hasn't quite made the connection between tulsi's lung protective effect, and so it's still available. There's no run on it. And if somebody more well-known than me starts talking about it, maybe there'll be a run on it. But for now, you know this secret. Tulsi tea, take about 1 liter to 2 liters every day. Hot water, couple of bags of tulsi tea. You can also add in black pepper, which is another very powerful spice for your lungs. And you can also add in ginger. Ginger is a very powerful detoxifier and also very good for the lungs and for the the throat passages. And so you can just chop up some fresh ginger and put it in that tea, or put some ginger powder. So tulsi, ginger, and black pepper tea. You can add some. I use jaggery, which is a raw sugar, but you can also use honey. So that's a great drink. And hot liquids sort of clean the system out. Then I would also say the other thing to be very cautious about is keeping your home environment as clean as possible, because that's where you are most of the time. So for us, anytime we come home, any clothes that we've been wearing outside, that we've been sitting in public, seats or public transport or in a public office, anywhere, those clothes go straight into the laundry hamper and they get washed. So we've been doing a lot of laundry lately. We immediately wash our hands when we get home and put on house clothes that we wear inside the house. We've also been disinfecting our surfaces. So we have lists put up around the house to disinfect all high-touch surfaces. So these include things like counters, knobs, handles, all the kitchen knobs in the kitchen cabinets, all the faucet handles in the bathroom and the kitchen, the oven handle and knobs, the fridge handles, the toilet seats, the toilet flushers, all iPhones, iPads, phones, computer keyboards, everything gets disinfected. We use Lysol or those Clorox products. I use a product called Odoban, which is a very good disinfectant. I just mix it with water and I spray it on everything. Let it soak for a few minutes and then go wipe it all down afterwards. So the other thing is at home, we open the windows every day. We make sure the house gets completely aired out, so you're not stagnating and living in stagnant air. Again, this is to take care of the lungs. You want fresh air to breathe. And every day, go outside and take lungfuls of fresh air. Fresh air and being in nature, all these things are very good to protect the lungs from getting sick. We also use an air purifier in the house that has a UV light that sterilizes the air as it goes through it. And then the other thing, from a social point of view, we're in a culture where people hug a lot, they, kiss a lot, we shake hands a lot, and we're really trying to move away from that. And instead of shaking hands, going to a namaste. The joke right now is the germaphobe in me greets the germaphobe in you. But using namaste or a hand to the heart or a hang loose gesture, whatever it is, something other than shaking hands, because this is a life or death situation for us now. So those are sort of the main tips that I think are very accessible to everybody. The other tip that I would recommend, if this might be a little bit more complex for people, but jal nathie, which is using a water pot to flush out. So if you've been in an environment where you think you've been exposed, you want to avoid large gatherings, but if you happen to be in one, afterwards I take this pot of warm saline water and I pour it down one nostril and it cleans out, and then I do it to the other nostril and clean out, blow everything out, and then I again relubricate. Jal nathie is also a technique described in the Business Casual Yogi, but these are ways that you can really take care of yourself. So I wish everyone the best of luck through this really, really difficult time. Get your sleep, get your rest, protect your immune system, reduce your stress levels, daily meditation, daily breathing exercises, practicing good hygiene, some of these herbal supplements that I mentioned, the ghee in the nostrils. All of these things are the little bit we can do that I think are a smarter move than just buying a whole bunch of toilet paper and doing I don't know what with it. So best of luck to everyone. I wish you all the best through this immense crisis that we're going through. And my prayers and blessings are with everybody. Thank you.